What is going on, guys? It's BDubs458 Gaming here, back with another video, and today I'll be doing like a sort of double video. So as you can see on the screen, I'll be driving the brand new free car that Forza sent everybody. It's the Ford Raptor Xbox One X edition. But I'll also be doing a how to drift tutorial. So as you can see, I'll be drifting this truck. I just decided to make a double video, and it would be sort of cool, I guess. But first thing you need to do, make sure your assists are right. So I wasn't very intelligent here. I was just okay. So yeah, I went to my assists. Um, Manualist clutch is the best. If you can drive manualist clutch, you definitely should use that. It helps a lot. But for drifting, friction assist off helps a lot, and traction stability control off. That's a must too. But so those are the assists you need. But to have a drift car, the Raptor's definitely not an ideal car. But if you're starting off just learning how to drift, it's a lot easier if you like start off with a slower car. Um, I made a video a couple of weeks ago on how to drift on a Logitech G920 on Horizon 3, and also in that video I recommended using a slow car. So starting off, you definitely want to start with a slow car. You don't want like a crazy 800 horsepower drift machine that only like experienced users would do. I would start off with like a car on stock tires, a lock diff, and maybe like 200 something horsepower, but just you can like get used to flicking it in the corner or like holding a steady drift um on your game. So that's like for the tune part. Just use like, I don't know, cheap car. You don't want to like spend all your money on drift car right off the bat. So I would just say like get a 240 or a BRZ or something like those both, or an RX-7. That's what I use. So yeah, like start off with like a grippier car so you can learn how to maintain drifts or like just hold drifts, even though you'll probably catch traction stuff. Don't go right off the bat with a high horsepower car. So next thing is consistency. This also counts for wheels too. But you want to be consistent. Um, if you're using a low power car, it's sort of easy to just like hold down the throttle all the way and like hold the drift. But especially when you're using a higher horsepower car, throttle control definitely helps a lot. Um, like for example, this Raptor I think had like 800 horsepower. I'm not sure. On sport tires, but it had like 325s all around too. But throttle control in the high horsepower cars definitely necessary to hold drifts, because if you're using like a 900 1000 horsepower car, let's say, with street or sport tires, you'll be spinning your wheels like crazy. And if you don't use throttle control, all the power will go out onto the wheels and you'll just lose control and spin out and just keep on spinning out. It's not going to help you at all. So throttle control definitely helps, especially in tight corners. You don't want a lot of power or else you'll just go sliding off into a wall. But yeah, so also with like control and stuff, your steering input has to be like, I mean, it's on a controller, so you have a lot more ease, and it's a lot easier than just using the wheel, especially in the motorsport games. I can drift with the wheel somewhat decently on Horizon 3, but not on Forza 7. But when you turn, you have to be super consistent. Don't like jerk the car around super fast. Just go like do more linear movements instead of just like jamming your steering joystick all the way to the right or all the way to the left. Be like gentle with it, and I guess don't just like jerk the controls around, and because that's just gonna create instability in the car. Yeah. So going back to like the car thing, you also don't want to drift a really short wheelbase car or really long wheelbase car. That was an issue I had with this Raptor because it was such a big car and the wheelbase was so long. It was difficult to hold drifts. Um, Long wheelbase cars are easier to drift than short wheelbase cars. Like as you can see, I was spinning out a lot. Sorry, but long wheelbase cars, they're easy to hold and they can get more angle, but it's sort of hard to keep them or to initiate them in a drift. While short wheelbase cars are exactly the opposite. They're easy to flick in and out, but they spin out a ton. So get like a medium-sized car. You don't want too big or too small. You want just like the perfect size, and that will definitely help you drift and stuff like that. But yeah, another thing when you're learning how to drift is track, like what track you choose. I know a lot of people tend to overlook this, but it's a really important aspect. Um, you don't want to like drift a track that has like no corners or like really long corners, or vice versa. I like to drift a track that has um, like really tight corners and no good like medium-sized corners. So you have to like have a track that's really balanced with the corner size and stuff like that. So tracks like Prague are good. Like the beginning half of it, as you can see on the screen, the back part isn't really good for drifting because you get in like all these narrow side streets and stuff. But as you'll see in a minute, we'll be going up like on the river, and that part's relatively easy to drift for beginners. This track is what I really learned to drift on in Forza 7. But some other tracks that are good, Top Gear isn't that good because it's really straight and people like me tend to just floor it until the corner, and then when you get to the corner it's too late to brake, so you just uh, hit the e-brake and you just go drifting off track. I'm trying to think of other tracks that are good. Um, I don't really have. Oh, Bernese Alps is good. Um, Parts of the test track are good. I also learned how to drift on that, but you have to, yeah, like I said, Bernese Alps and Prague are probably like the best ones to learn on. But if you have like a Forza Horizon game, those are also easier to do. It's easier to drift on Forza Horizon or like Horizon games. So if you have like a Horizon game, I'd try drifting on that first and then going on the Forza 7. Just because the physics in the Horizon games are a bit more easygoing. So, yeah. Um, yeah, so 240 BRZ for drift car. Other stuff like that just helps. So, yeah.